This week on Jaywalking, I welcome Mike Peters, very good friend, comedian from the Binghamton area, but he also is my age. So we were geeking out about TGIF and Boy Meets World and Full House and Home Improvement. He also has an older autistic sister, and it was just so cool to talk a little bit about what I'm seeing with Alicia and what his experience was. And his parents were both teachers. Just a rich conversation. So much fun. It's exactly what I hoped to just jaywalk. So I hope you enjoy it. I'll see you next week. Do all the things. Like, subscribe, share. See you next week. This is our first remote guest. I feel like we're mid-pandemic. Maybe we all have that HANA virus. I don't know what's going on. Do you know what? I'm embarrassed, but Mike Peters is in the house. And Mike, can you explain to me what the HANA virus is? It's the only reason you're on today. Oh, okay. Well, it's a short episode, so thanks for coming, guys.
You know what? I was so surprised because I do a podcast too. And when I was coronavirus,
another white guy does a podcast? That's madness.
Listen, man, once you start doing stand-up, you're basically
it's required.
You're assigned one. But when the pandemic, our first one came around, I was so surprised because not by the pandemic, but I'm editing, like I recorded a bunch at somebody's house and I'm editing during the pandemic, and I found out that I referenced the pandemic in February, and I'm like, how am I up to date on this stuff?
You're like the Simpsons.
Aren't. Yeah, it's crazy. So
I don't know. Yeah.
Like, the hantavirus, you know what? The only thing I know about it is that it was referenced on the Simpsons long time ago.
Of course it was. Of course it was.
5 or 6.
You know what's scary is I just booked a cruise for me and my family. Like the week before, and I'm like, oh great, can't wait. Although I will say it's probably like a plane, like if there's like a crash, like I'll fly in the next plane out because they're not going to let it happen again.
No.
So I'm like, all right, well, whatever it is, I'm going to be in the best situation because we'll fix it. Those washy people will be ready. Have you ever been on a cruise?
No, the closest I've been is a whale watch. And
when you go to the buffet every time, they make you wash your hands, and there's these people that sing to you, and they're called the washy people, and they have this song about how you have to washy before you eaty or whatever they say, and it's very cheesy, but it's meant to be like urging you to not, like, because the neurovirus and there's all these other things that can get caught on a ship. But yeah, so now I'm very nervous. I'm glad my wife's not going because her whole algorithm would be hantavirus. It's just my wife. My wife's going to a conference, so it's me and my mom and my oldest. So I think we'll survive. I think we'll be okay.
My parents go on cruises every other year. We play that game, like, how much does this cost this time? And I think the last one they said was like somewhere between like 20 and 25,000. Now I know why it costs that much. They're paying people to sing for them while they wash hands.
That's exactly right, dude. I will say this: people are gonna roll over and die when they find out that I'm actually going on a Carnival cruise again. Because I had this whole ordeal last year where I went on this Carnival cruise, and it was a pretty good cruise, except for when we get off the ship and they let my daughter get separated from my wife, and it's a mass exodus on the last day. And I lost my luggage and my CPAP because I heard my daughter screaming in the crowd by herself. And I'm like trying to swim upstream as this giant salmon on this little gangway, pushing people aside. And it was this whole fiasco. And I raised all this hell about it and went all the way up the chain. And I ended up getting all our money back from them. And so I vowed never to go on there again. And I'm going on. You know why I'm going on? Because Carnival has the best comedy. Carnival's the only line that cares about comedy. And honestly, that's all I wanted because, my wife and my daughter, they're going to be in bed early. They do 4 shows a night on a Carnival cruise. And then they have multiple comedians. So you're not seeing the same person the whole time. And they're not making them do it in a theater where it's a half empty theater. They're have a club. And it's I'm just that's how I want to spend my evenings. I just want to be watching comedy, having a few cocktails.
Yeah, my mom and dad, they're like, "Oh yeah, you should get a job on a cruise." And I was like, "Oh, for comedy?" Like, well, I mean, I guess, but like, I think they were talking about like food staff.
You could sweep the Lido deck though. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Like, you just sold me out of the country. I get it.
Yeah. They're like, we don't think you're that funny, but you're funny enough to do the washy washy song.
Absolutely.
Maybe like
hopefully you can remember the words. We'll see.
Yeah.
No, they invited me and my girlfriend to go with them, and I can't. You know, they're awesome people. I like them a lot. They're 78 and 74.
My parents are okay.
And I'm well, listen, I mean, you've been 20 before. Like, we didn't all like our parents.
No.
But my girlfriend, we're going to get married in a month, theoretically.
Oh.
So who knows?
That sounds ominous.
We got time. But I'm convinced I'm going to marry her, but she's still on the fence. We're 43 and 42. So, like, I mean, I can't get over the hump of like, well, we're going to go on a double date on a cruise with my parents. And, like, it's just weird. And they would pay for it. So,
what are we talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like, I don't want to be in the room next to my parents and be like, hey, I've had a few drinks. You've had a few drinks. Now let's get a little amorous. Hold on, Barry and Joanne, you keep it down. Weird.
No, you can't hear what's next door. You go at it. You do it. Heck, I mean, as a parent, I will tell you, like, you have your kids in the room sometime. And you're like, well, we put a sheet up. That sheet's a sound barrier, right? Like, yeah, you can. So it's, but I think you should do it. I highly recommend doing the cruise and then book the rooms not next to each other. But you can totally get a room on the other end of the ship or something. Like, just have at it. I'm a huge cruise guy. I do. But yeah, so that's people are very up. I'm excited to hear what people think about me going on a Carnival cruise. So I haven't released that info yet. This is the first time I've told people, so it's going to be interesting.
When you got Carnival to acquiesce to everything you asked for, did you ever have in your mind to talk to your daughter and be like, "Hey, all right, let's go into business together. What do you like? Where can we just stage something, really like test our acting chops?"
The problem is my oldest daughter, and I don't know if this is just a thing. I think this is a thing with autism in general. She can't lie. Like, she can't be deceptive ever. I'll be like, "What are you doing?" And she'll immediately tell me what she's doing, even if it's not allowed. "Do you have your tablet on right now? You're not supposed to." Yes. She's got zero. She would be
go nowhere in life.
Accomplice. Like, yeah. So I have to legally place her in these scenarios. I think we could do it. I just can't let her in on it because she'll ruin it. You know what I mean? So I was like, I got to just find a way to accidentally place her there without them realizing.
Yeah, my sister is she's autistic as well. She's older than me. She can lie. She's horrible at it.
Yeah.
So, like, if you she'll try, and if you confront, it almost turns into an interrogation. Like,
yeah.
You'll ask her. Like, she stole one of my last days. I lived at the house. She lived in a group home, and she came to visit. It was like Labor Day. I was moving out, and I had like $60 in change sitting in my bedroom. And I because people stole from it before, I logged it. I'm like, okay, well, I have 34 pennies and everything. So I had everything down to the cent. And I asked her, I said, "Did you steal my change?" And she looks away from you and says, "No." And it's always, "No." It yeah. And I'm like, "I'll go get Dad." And I got Dad, and he just searched her stuff, and I had all my money back. But like, she'll try, but she's completely incapable of it.
Yeah, it's so funny. That's what I'm realizing, and she's starting to get sneaky with stuff. Like, I coached the special needs baseball team, and she had an activity before it, so my wife was bringing her a little late. And so I'm in the outfield. The kids are like warming up and throwing, and I'm helping them get their proper position. And she comes running up to me, and she taps me, and she looks me in the face, and she's like, "Prick." I was like, "What?" I was like, "What?" And then she like looks at me, and she's like, "Is that a bad word?" And then I'm like, and like she has this sly look in her face. I'm like, it's a bad word. Like, she's at this age. I was saying this the other day, like, we're having a hard time because she's about to be 13. So we don't know what's the teen and what's the tism. So it's just this kind of concept of like, what's puberty, what's autism, and the answer is yes.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like you have no idea. Like she'll slam a door, roll her eyes, not make eye contact, and you're like point teen, and then like she'll come out because her sock and the seam in it is too aggressively bothering her, and I'm like, okay, well that's definitely the tism, and then like. And then sometimes they'll Batman and Robin her, and that'll hit her both at the same time. And we're just in the kitchen like a tornado, just waiting the storm to leave. It's like it is just so challenging right now to figure out what's happening with her because she's so hormonal. And I'm sure your sister went through a lot of that too.
Oh,
But there's just no
yeah.
manual for figuring out like how to help her. I just wait the storm out. I just make sure she's not like because now she likes to say things that are going to get a reaction out of me. She likes to push the big red button of things, So she'll just say like I'm going to burn this place to the ground just cuz she doesn't want to go there. And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, we got to go. We're going to church. I'm going to burn this church to the ground." I'm like, "Okay, well maybe don't say
I
that there."
wouldn't.
Like yeah, like I just like you're gonna say something out of here and you're gonna get in trouble and I can't help you. I mean, you're so sweet looking that no one would believe it. And I also know that you just don't possess the motor skills to light a match. So I'm not as worried. But some people won't know that. They'll just look at you and be like, oh, this person's trying to cause harm, terroristic threats. And I'm just like, oh, right now she's like this little angelic girl, but eventually she'll get out there and people aren't going to be so understanding. And it's like, it's just so hard because you feel like, and it's just repetition. It's just repetition. And like, it's like what, and parenting is repetition. Kevin Hart used to have a bit about how the patience and you got to repeat. He's like, and he just kept like, stop, don't stop, stop. And that's how it is with autism, but you just have to do it 5,000 more times for everything. And it's like so exhausting. Like my wife and we take turns depending on our emotional currency that evening. Like one of us disassociates and the other like tags in so
Yep.
that when that one says then I can tag back in and she can go disassociate and we can like that's the only way because you see how marriages I mean a lot of times with special needs parents the marriages don't last because it's just so emotionally wearing and exhausting but but she's such a sweetheart we have her in so many great stuff so there's a lot of positives that's why I've been doing like a lot of the cheer dad stuff has been like this cool thing her and I have had together and so it's been this like fun little thing and then having my other daughter so my wife and I often do that where we each kind of take turns like doing different things with each of them like tomorrow my youngest daughter's playing hooky and her and I are going on like her school has some kind of field trip that is at school or something but like we're going on doing our own field trip. We're going to like Crystal Cave and maybe a little Top Golf after that, and
Nice.
just kind of. And so it'll just be me and her, and so my youngest daughter and I have like we try to make sure she doesn't feel like because I know, and I don't know if you felt like this, but the sibling that doesn't have the special needs often sometimes feels like they didn't get enough attention or
I did for sure.
yeah. So it's like we're trying to be active about that and like know that hey just so you know like we're trying to care about you too and I'm sure no matter how hard we try they'll still be because it's the truth there's just more needs there but yeah we're trying to at night my youngest and I watch TV together but I'm so I don't know I'm not the best at making like good choices as an adult like of what she should watch so like we're not watching like Bluey or Magic School Bus we're watching Dr. Pimple Popper like that's what
Right,
we're
of course.
watching.
It's educational.
Yeah, she can tell you if it's a lipoma or a cyst immediately. And I'm proud of myself because I used to be disgusted by that, and I can now eat during it. You know what I mean? Which like it's like, but my wife and it was like our little secret because my wife was usually asleep and we were up a little later than we should have been. But then my wife went to back to school night in the beginning of this year, and I got a text from her with a picture and it's like all of the kids had these profiles up and everybody was like, oh, I watch Bluey, I watch Caillou, and then Katie Yoder, Dr. Pimple Popper. And she just texted me, fix this. I was like, so I had to reset her algorithm. I was like, but we were watching like World's Toughest Prison. So I don't know if I went in the right direction.
Yeah, it's a great show too.
It's
well,
a great
all
show.
you're doing is saying, hey, if you do something bad, here's where you might end up.
That's it. That's scared straight.
It just depends on how you spin it.
That's right, because she's like, and then, but then something happens, and then I realize I have to explain something to her, and like, listen, I'm like parenting, like you're supposed to be an expert, you're supposed to be an IT expert, a therapist, like, and I did the math the other day because I was trying to work a bit on it. I've been a parent for 6.6 million minutes, like almost 110,000 hours. And there was that guy, Malcolm Gladwell, that did that. Like, he had like a book where he talked about if you're going to be an expert in something, you have to do something for 10,000 hours. But I think he's since recanted that that's not true. I think he became a parent, and then he realized, oh yeah, that's not true at all. But yeah, that's that whole piece, because I'm just not good at it, And then she'll say something, and I realize I have to explain something, and it's like improv. You got to explain it real quick, otherwise you're going to do permanent damage, or it's going to set a memory. In the prison, it was one of the prisons where I guess there were a bunch of immigrants, and anytime the director came in, they were all cheering for her, like they all loved her. And then the one guy was like, are they brainwashed? Like, why are they like cheering for the warden? And Katie's like, what's brainwashed? And I'm like, oh. And I just try to be calm, and like I just try to answer it matter of fact. I'm just like, well, so when people like convince you like something that maybe you don't like,
Yeah,
and she's like, yeah, and she's like, oh, like when mommy makes dinner. And I was just like, why do they say stuff that better than any joke I could ever write? And I was like, now I gotta tag that, like, but they're just so. I mean, she's so fun to be around. I went to a wedding recently. I was talking about that, and I had a suit on. I haven't had a suit on since like before the pandemic, and and she comes in and she's like, "You look like a businessman who sells money to people." And I was
that's
like,
fantastic.
what a great thing. Yeah, I was like, no, sadly, I'm a teacher, and I was like, that's why this suit is due back on Monday, because it was a rental. I was like, I can't afford this suit. But she's so funny. Yeah, it's a blast. I mean, I hope you guys get married. Are you guys gonna have kids, or you're like, no, we're in our 40s?
I think that ship has sailed, but we're not we're not
Yeah.
careful. So who knows? But no,
Yep.
I think right now we've got 3 cats and a dog, and we're cool with that. And
And more money than you would ever have if you
Oh my
had that
God.
many kids.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Although I think if I had kids, I'd be like, Mike, you got to get a real job now. It's not working.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But no, we're good right now. But my girlfriend is the youngest of 3, or I'm sorry, the youngest of 4, and they all have 3 kids, and then all those
You
kids have
guys-
kids, and then
Yeah.
my parents have 2 grandkids, and I think they're cool with that. I've got a younger brother; he might have kids. I don't know. The only I would like to be a dad. I think that'd be fun. I would like to pass on the Peters name, although it's not a great name. But I do feel like a little bit of like because if my brother doesn't have a kid, it's dead. Like the name is gone. So
Yeah.
not that there aren't more Peters around, but
No.
yeah, that's it. And I don't know. I always liked having a kid around the house, or not around the house, but like being hanging out.
Yeah,
with
in your
one.
life.
Like
Yeah.
I got niece and nephew, and I really like hanging out with them.
No,
But-
that's great. Yeah,
and
you could always
and they're-
borrow a kid.
Yeah, well, no shit. Like, everybody's gonna want to give one away.
Yeah. I mean, you come take one of mine if you'd like.
You don't even
It's
need
like,
to ask.
yeah, you just come on over. Yeah, I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
there's no such thing as taken. You can't take the willing. Just leave, go.
But there
Yeah.
there are things where like you grew up, and I've got 3 siblings. I'm the third of 4, and you always think like, oh, if I had kids, I would do it this way. I do it better. And there are things that I kind of like to try out. Like, how about if we don't ignore the third of 4 kids enough? Or how about if we don't blame the third kid for what the second kid did or the fourth kid did? Like, I always felt like I got that. So like your youngest, the only thing I'd say is just treat her well, and don't take out what your oldest kid has done
Yeah.
on her.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you know better. I heard that all the time. Like,
I know. Well, and
I'm not
she
the parent.
gets she gets that. Yeah, you're right. And she gets that hard because she often has to take care of her older sister
Yeah, that's
because
what I
the
had to do.
because of the because of the impulse
Yep.
control. You know what I mean? So it's just like she gets a lot of that weight of that. I think she's carrying. I can feel even at 9 that she's emotionally carrying
Mhm.
some of that. And I
I
was
think
like,
a lot of
oh
that is like inborn. Like,
yeah.
not to, I've got 3 cats, right? And I
Oh,
brought them into the house. Same thing, same thing.
yeah,
But I brought them into the house, and 2 of them were kittens, and they didn't know each other. The kittens did, but I had a 1.5-year-old. He got to the house like 2 days before, and instinctively he knew that the kittens should eat first. Like, some things you just know.
yeah, you're
And
right. There,
when your kids grow up together and there's special need, like, she knows. Like, she
she's a
and then
saint.
and
She's so
you and
empathetic.
your wife aren't there. You can't help for some reason. She knows that she should step up. Kids are awesome like that.
Yeah, I will say that's just that she's never had to be told to do anything like that. She just is that kind. And I think it's really shaping who she is and the fact that I think she wants to be a teacher. She wants to. I'm like, that's a terrible idea, baby. Daddy spent half his life doing it and now he ran from it. But no, I love that, or a nurse or so, she's a caretaker because I
Caretaker,
don't
yeah.
know what it's gonna look. I don't know what's gonna look like in the future and if she's gonna have to take care of Alicia, or, I know thankfully there are like group homes and things like that. But, at the end of the day, they have a really cool bond. They're only about 2.5 years apart. The pandemic, honestly, was the best thing because it really, Katie was so persistent with Alicia because Alicia just was like, it was like this Anna Elsa thing because, she just was trying to lock herself in a room or do her own thing because that's what autism is. It comes from the Greek word for self. You're kind of in your own little world. And Katie, because of the pandemic, they really broke through to like really hanging out and finding a way to play with each other. And Katie was so good at like cracking that Da Vinci Code and like figuring out how to get Alicia to play dolls with her or do stuff that she just wasn't doing. So I credit Katie for a lot of Alicia's social development because she just was so persistent getting her sister. And I was joking about this the other day because they say, I have a lot of respect for my wife because they say moms of kids with special needs experience like PTSD kind of symptoms and how like the exhaustion of everything. And I didn't I knew that was a true statement when I heard it, only because they were in the family room one day and Katie was like, play dolls with me, play dolls with me. And Alicia was like, just doing that thing where she starts yelling back at her because she doesn't want it. And then finally she just says, fine, I'll play dolls. I'll be the peaceful husband. You be the mean woman. And I could see my wife's face and I knew that it was her D-Day. Like something snapped in her brain, like a war vet on the 4th of July. Like something happened where it was just like the fireworks went off and she was like, and I was just like, yep, I'm in trouble. Like I was like, and I was like, listen, I'm not always peaceful. Like I escalate. My wife has to like really, I have to like be calm. Like when Alicia's not doing what she's asking and she's getting in one of her zones, I end up like matching her energy instead of being the parent and like staying calm and patient. And I think, from to your point earlier, I'm an only child. So I have such a hard time not being a selfish prick. Like I really do. Like I'm a nice guy. Everybody like see, but honestly, at my core, I'm selfish. I'm the most selfish guy ever. Like in
How you're
the
brought up,
little things.
everything was
The
yours.
Yeah, like I'll get out of a car and somebody, you remember the seats where you had to like have a seat to like fold the seat open and they had to get, I'd be like just not even paying attention that somebody was in the back and like just shutting the door on their face as they're trying to get out. Like, and it didn't occur to me. Like I wasn't even trying to do it, but it's just, yeah, because of all of that upbringing of not having to think about someone else, not having to worry, share presents on Christmas, share my parents' attention. Like there's certain things in me that were just the nature of that situation. And it's like I feel bad for my wife. She was one of 3 and now we have 2 kids and I'm just out of my element. It's all women and me. That's the only part of the life that makes sense is it's all women. That's the only thing that's the concept for me. But like the having multiple kids, the same, like, yeah, it was so much to learn. And I think I've gotten good at just kind of like sitting back and let it like realizing it's probably normal. It's like unless there's a lot of blood. it's probably normal.
Yeah, my mom always said, "Don't fight in the house. Don't bleed on the carpet." It's like,
Yeah.
take it outside. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's got to be a healthy level of that because it teaches you how to regulate your emotions. It teaches you how to negotiate conflict resolution. Like, I mean, I was only arguing with myself, and I always won. So it's like they need that skill. So that's a hard thing for me. So
My
I'm also
mom,
interested.
oh, my mom is, she taught kindergarten for, 30 years.
Shit.
And I always felt really bad for her because, in hindsight, I feel bad for her because, like, I guess at the time too, but my dad taught high school band. So he had to leave like 40 minutes, 50 minutes before my mom did. But so he would wake up my sister, or try wake me up, and then at 6:33 he was in the car and he left. So there was like 35 minutes where we had to get ready and get on the bus. My sister was a nightmare to wake up. So my mom would have to wake her up, and my mom didn't have to. Realistically, she could have gotten up at 7:15 and still been to school by 8. So she would get up early and, Trisha, wake up. Trisha, get up. And I'm ready to go. I'm like waiting. If Trisha missed the bus, my mom would have to drive her to school. And they would fight almost every single day. And my dad didn't see it. My mom would go in. My sister was a hoarder. So she would get up at night and go to the kitchen and grab something, put it under her bed, put it behind her bed, in the drawer. She would go through my mom's purse, take her stamps. So my mom every morning would go and look through the room to get her stamps, get any money, anything she stole back. It was a nightmare. So my dad was like resistant to get my sister in a group home because I think I always screw up the timeline. I think she was in a group home before she graduated high school, but I don't remember. But
Yeah.
if not, it was right after that. And my
Yeah.
sister and I, she's 3 years older. We graduated together because they held her back.
Yeah. Absolutely. You can often stay. I mean, a lot of times you can stay till 21.
Yeah, there was 21 in New York back then. So I graduated. It's really bad, but I think I was in like 6th or 7th grade, and I was like arguing with my sister, and I said to her, "I'm going to graduate before you," and then it happened. So like, my girlfriend at the time and my oldest sister were watching me graduate, and they're like, "Oh my god!" They're like, boys on one side, girls on the other, and like the line got closer. Like, "Oh my god, Mike's going to do it," and I was 4 names ahead of her, just the way the alphabet. So but my mom had to deal with it, and so as soon as the option for the group home was, my dad didn't want to do it, but my mom's like, "I'm fried." I mean,
well, that 50 minutes,
bulk of the work. Yeah,
that 50 minutes was a lifetime. Like every morning, that 50 minutes, because I do the mornings, and like I'll say this, like it's like maybe because I'm not rushing out of the house since I've stopped having to rush out of the house. The last 3 years, I mean, I've been teaching. I just stopped in January, but like even the last 2 years, I changed my schedule so that I was halftime in the afternoon. Like I took a sabbatical the 1 year, and I was like, "Ooh, this is kind of nice." And I studied autism at Westchester, and then I went back, and I was like, "Ooh, it was a full load." And I'm like, "I can't do that. I need to be back like part time." So I got them to give me the mornings off, and just the ability to get them up and not also be trying to get myself ready was huge. Because like I know exactly what your mom was going through, and that 50 minutes that your dad wasn't privy to because he was already out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
I could totally see. And that's why I said my wife and I trying to like tag team this and figure out. And with me being away at night with comedy and stuff, it gets hard. Like it is like we've been navigating it, and my wife's super supportive, but there's also like the challenge because Alicia likes to escape and like elope at night. And the police brought her home one time at like 1:30 in the morning.
Same thing.
And it's like, my wife can't set the alarms until I come in because a lot of them we do like the wedge. We don't trust the like ones that we were having issues with Wi-Fi going out. So we get these like wedge alarms, like you would put it like a woman would put it like a hotel if she was by herself or whatever. And she can't set it if I'm about to come in or whatever. So it's like at night, I was like out at New Hope, Mike, on Monday, and it was late. It doesn't start till 9, and it's an hour and a half away. So it was like, I didn't get home till like 11:30, and she's like texting me like, she's like, I'm like, well, the mic didn't start till 9, so I just got. She's like, well, I wanted you home. We're just fighting. I'm like, and I get it because I'm like, oh, it's so. And then obviously when I'm away for like the weekends, on tour or whatever, she sometimes will stay with her parents. And then that way she has a little bit in the morning, or the girls will stay with my mom, too. They'll go to grandma's house for a little bit. So we're grateful that we have someone to share the brunt of that. And
Yeah,
then,
you almost need that.
yeah. And then my wife is involved in the union, and they have a lot of like events where, like you go away for the weekend to do trainings and network. And so she gets to go, I would say almost every 2 to 3 months she gets a weekend to kind of go away. So like having those kind of things are huge, because so I think we both get enough of that, and then we have enough. So we're very grateful. I'm so blessed, because I know how hard it could be for people who have it and they're single parents, or it's, and then, because I think it's important that you're also doing things you're passionate about, like, because you get so consumed with doing things for your kids, you also have to do things that fill your cup up, and she loves doing the work she does with the union. She loves helping people. She's on a committee where if somebody's in like need, they can apply for money that we have from some of our donations that kind of get allocated to that. So, so she gets to fill her cup up with helping others and kind of getting to go to these fun little conferences. And, she likes to go get her nails. She'll take an afternoon, go get her nails done and all of that. And so, I think that's super important. And then obviously I'm pursuing a passion of mine with, being creative and comedy. I think it's important. What do you and your girl do? Do you guys each have your own like passion projects that you
Not
like to
really.
do?
I'm doing stand up. So
Yeah.
that, I guess it's a passion project. It's more, after a while, it's just your job.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
I like doing that, but we're boring. Like, we're TV people.
Yeah.
So like she gets home from work and she loves the couch.
Yeah.
Like we joke, but like once you get her on the couch, good luck getting her off. And more power to her,
Yeah.
but like we just together we'll sit there and we'll watch Home Improvement. We'll watch a
That's
couple
funny.
episodes.
I love that.
It stands up. It really
It
is
really
good.
does. We've had the kids watching it recently because it's on Netflix.
So we watched it on Hulu. I didn't know it was on Netflix too. But I am convinced, and I've missed a lot of like TV over the last decades, but like I always thought, and I make the argument that Home Improvement is the last sitcom that I grew up with where it was okay for the kids to watch with the parents. It didn't, there wasn't and you watch it again and there are, sex storylines, but
Yes.
I think they're coded in a way that as a kid, you don't really get it. And I don't know if my parents were ever uncomfortable watching it, but like Raymond has, the kids aren't involved really.
No, you're right.
Like, I don't know. I just, my parents weren't going to watch Full House with me or Family Matters, but Home Improvement, it was told through Jim and Jill's perspective. So like they can relate to it. And there were enough storylines for the kids. And yeah, Tim's a goofball. So we got that too.
Exactly.
So I always think that's why that show is so strong.
I agree. I still loved watching it. Even now, Wilson was like one of my favorite characters to have. Like, what a great, like, what a perfect way to introduce that or let Tim process things, or even Jill, just a nice, easy way. The friendly sage neighbor, like the Jiminy Cricket, just the whole concept of that is so, it was such a great show.
It's weird that he shows up everywhere they are, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
But the audience, the in-studio audience cracks up. So it's like, hey, it worked,
Yeah, it really did. What a genius thing to not show his full face. Like, even when he would come out for the cast thing, he had like a thing like this that would wear. Yeah, it was brilliant. Like, such a great concept.
Really underrated storyline for him is that he was related to the Beach Boys.
Really?
So like, on the show, like Brian Wilson, like he was a cousin of Wilson Wilson.
Oh, so, my God. I completely forgot. I didn't realize that.
I think like ABC had stock in the Beach Boys because they were on all those shows.
Yeah,
so, like,
that makes sense.
Like, every season of Full House, they had to come on and do a guest.
The Beach Boys were what I remember. Beach Boys were I remember my mom loving the Beach Boys. Yeah. And then there'd always be like tribute bands.
I never got into them. And it wasn't until, was it Brian Wilson who just died, or one of them just died?
Yeah, I don't think it was too long ago.
And I listened to, I think God Only Knows was played a lot. And I listen to that, I'm like, it is. I've never said the Beach Boys suck or anything like that. I
Yeah.
just never understood why Pet Sounds was elevated to like godlike status. And I guess it's the recording, how innovative they were. But I listened to it and I'm like, The Who is better. Like, I
Yeah.
listen to Tommy all the time compared to Pet Sounds. I listened to Pet Sounds twice, and only because like I assigned it to myself as homework. Like,
Yeah.
but The Who is in the 70s, and Pet Sounds is number 2 or 3. I never understood that, but
Yeah,
they're a fine band.
they were a plant. They were an ABC plant.
Yeah, have to be. Yeah. It's like the
Yeah.
Monkees.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, the monkey. That was the Fabricated. That was the. But it's hard for the kids in that show. Like the kids in that show went through it rough. I mean, like the 3 boys. I think the oldest has had all sorts of issues. The youngest went goth, and like the middle one, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, was such a heartthrob teen beat kind of. And then he like got out of the light. He's like a professor or something now.
Yeah, I think
or
so. The last I saw him work was, and I'm sure he's done something since. I know he's come back and like guest starred on like Tim Allen stuff, but I saw him in an episode of Veronica Mars, and that would have been like 2003, maybe 2002. So it was a long time ago, and I'm sure he's still got a better career than I have.
Why? Oh my God! What's I mean, any of those
we
child
thought
actors?
He was going to be. I mean, I would have thought he'd have been like Leonardo DiCaprio level.
Yeah,
right
100%, 100%. It was interesting because I got to do a show in Sayre up there, and you were nice enough to give me a spot in the middle when Al from Step by Step and and Stephanie from Full House came and did that. I got to be the warm up act before they got into the podcast, and it was all 90s themed, like throwback, and they were talking about what it was like to be child stars, and and they were very sweet as people, like Christina Lakin was like couldn't have been sweeter, just typical soccer mom now, like very sweet. And then Jodie's the same. Jodie's got a rawness to her because she's a comic. She's got that Bob Saget energy in her, and she was very sweet, but she's also very like witty and very, very much like I think almost like her character in the way that she had this kind of like edge to her that was a little sass.
Yeah, I loved Full House. I mean, I took like on my podcast, I probably bring up Full House. I'm really happy when somebody else does it because I feel like I go to, but you can probably find a Full House reference in about 20-30% of the episodes. But I love that show. And Jodie Sweetin, if you go back and watch the pilot of Full House, and I know more now than I did then, but like the show was written for her. Essentially, like she was the main girl because the first episode, she's hanging on the curtain rod. They're pushing her or pulling her throughout the entire room. A 5-year-old. I mean, she's not afraid, and she's witty. She's nailing all the lines, and she is incredible as a child actress. Like if you, I know I've seen lists before. And I don't remember where anybody placed, but like if you did a list of child actors, if I did one, she'd be at the top. I mean, maybe not one, but top 3, top 4 easily.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It was such a great show, and I loved any of those shows because that was where I got like my fix of like, oh, what a nuclear family looked like,
Yeah, it's weird.
Because I'm like, oh, this is what a family. I always joked in my act that like I was raised by my TV dads, and I was like watching them to see what it would have been like, and. Full House, that whole lineup. I remember just Friday nights, 8:00,
fantastic.
like Family Matters right off the bat, then Full House and Step by Step. Boy Meets World. There were like iterations that rotated in.
Yeah,
was it like Perfect Strangers in the mix at one point?
I think Perfect Strangers was like one of the originals. And Dinosaurs was there for 4 years.
And the fourth was always a new one. Whatever the 9:30 slot one was one where I never quite made it that far, but it was always the first 3 were always like my wheelhouse.
For like a season or so, Boy Meets World was at 9:30, and there's a joke about it's on an episode of Boy Meets World where Topanga's babysitting, but Corey comes and visits, and he starts hanging out with a kid and making it rough for Topanga, and Corey and Topanga are having an argument, and the kid goes, "Oh my God, you got to come upstairs, watch the curly-headed guy. He's digging deeper and deeper and deeper." And he goes, "Wait, no, I thought that was." I got to reversed, but he goes, "Oh, I thought that was at 9 o'clock." No, it's at 9:30 now. They're trying to kill it. They're trying to kill it. And it was just a meta joke about what
Yeah.
ABC was
You
doing
had
with
been putting
Boy
that's
Patrol.
funny.
It's really good. But yeah,
That's really good.
those TGIF was so good.
I
And
loved it.
I mean, I don't even know if there's TV on Friday nights anymore.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's nothing like, but with my daughters, like everything now is like a la carte.
Yeah.
Everything's like literally the streaming services. It's just, there's just too many options now. There's just, you can't, it's
Do you
like,
miss it? Do you miss going to the bathroom during the commercial break? I miss that a lot.
yeah. I mean, that was, now you just pause it. You just pause it wherever you want.
You completely take the game out of TV.
Yeah. Well, when I was first started teaching, like 20 years ago, even, like, I would use the commercials, and I would still do it on, like, if I was watching football on Sundays, as like that's when I would grade. So if there's a commercial break, okay, let me do a quick paper or two. Okay, now it's back. Okay, quick. It was like a little game. Or when I was younger, before we had kids, and I was like playing like MLB The Show or MLB 2K, whatever, I'd like do half an inning, and then at the break, I do some papers. I do a half inning, and then I do some papers. I always had to trick myself to like, or that's when you go get your snack. You're running to get the snack. Yeah, it's like, it's so funny how different things are, and even with my kids. So now having to sit down and say, well, it's kind of nice though now, because the schedule allows me to like have that time with my daughter whenever. It's like I don't have to. I do like, recently I've been watching some of the shows that you vote on. Like my daughter and I, we were watching Star Search when that released on Netflix, and they love the concept of being able to vote for the acts. So like the three of, we'd sit in there, and then we'd, all argue over who we're going to vote or how many stars. And so it was nice recently to get a little resurgence of that with them. And then we were watching like American Idol for the nights when you could vote. And then I was even watching like I couldn't have them watch it. I had to watch it with my headphones on. But Kevin Hart did the Funny AF, and I was watching
how was that?
I thought it was great. I mean, just as a comic, it was like fun to watch and see all the different styles, and hear just people talking about comedy in the game, and seeing all these people try to go through it. And it was very produced, as you'd imagine, but like in the most part, I thought it was cool. I knew a couple of the comics, obviously Tata, but like it was just fun to watch them go through it. And it was fun to see, like, even like the amazing ones who I know are killing it, and the way that they were produced in that show. It just shows you how, it just makes you appreciate how tough comedy is. And like, even to produce it, because like I felt like you couldn't get the sound of the audience well coming through sometimes. So like they killed it. And I'm like, yeah, but I couldn't really hear the crowd responding to them well. And I don't know if it's just because they were doing it in like a big theater towards the end. Like I like, they had to tell me that they were killing it, because I couldn't tell just by watching the act, because I couldn't. I could hear them clearly, but it's like, when somebody pulls only from the mic board and you're not hearing the crowd. So I felt it was a little like that. So it was hard to judge how hard they were killing. And I like some of their material, but some of the material didn't resonate with me. But like, I loved Caitlin Palufo. That was my
she's
favorite
fantastic
from day one. Like, I wanted her to win so badly, because I just thought she just is a show. When she gets out there, she just takes the room over.
I met her. I had her on my podcast, but I met her. She used to date Steven Rogers, and
yeah,
I did the first time I ever did stand up. He did it at my open mic, and he left before he could see me bomb. Thankfully. But but he lived in Syracuse, so the two of them came back, and I think I had seen her, or at least heard of her. She did the set in Binghamton and did really well. I think I saw it, but I probably would have remembered. But I saw them at Syracuse, and Steven's a very clean comedian. Caitlin is not. And she went up. I'm pretty sure she went up before Steve, and his parents came to watch. And she was trying to be delicate, and then she's like, "Oh, there's a lot of stuff I want to say about your son, but you're here." And his mom goes, "No, go for it." Oh my God. I mean, I've never seen anybody destroy like that at that mic, which was kind of notoriously prickly, a little tough to get any reaction. She demolished. And part of it was because, she's saying this about a guy we like in front of his parents, so the situation helped. But
Well, she had that.
oh my
She had that
God.
happen. She had that happen in one of the shows where she did crowd work on a guy, and she's like, "Are you a grower or a shower?" He's like, "My
Yeah.
mom's here." She's like, "I don't give a fuck who's here,"
Yeah.
and the whole place erupted. And then,
Yeah.
like later on, she went and finished her bit, and she told a dirty joke in the end. And she's like, "Look, your mom's laughing at that joke," and like she did a callback to like she's
She's so
just
good.
a pro. And I
Yeah.
think it's hard when you like because she's like dirty all the time. I think it's just I think it was hard for her to be the one to win. I could see, even though I voted every time they were able to vote,
Yeah.
she was my number one. Because I like when people can talk about that. I like that she stuck to her guns on that. But it was also I can see that it maybe didn't show the kind of range they would want to show for someone who's going to win that competition.
Yeah.
Where
She
the guy who did win it like had really done some different sets. He kept his same energy, but he really had picked a lot of different topics that made him seem, well, I think, a little bit more textured or well
yeah.
rounded.
I was talking to Paul Spratt about you and how you work so hard. And
Mhm.
Caitlin is one of those people who, when she started doing stand-up, she's an athlete. So she's very,
Mhm.
very competitive. And
Yeah.
not just with you, but with herself. And when she moved to New York City and started doing stand-up, I don't know how quickly, I can't remember, but she told me that she did like 30 sets a week and like just 4 or 5 a day because she just wanted to get really good. And I'm going to guess that she's been doing stand up maybe 11 years. So, like, not long. I mean, probably about as much as anybody's on that show, but like to the level she is now, you'd think that she's been doing it 15, 20 years. She's
Yeah.
so good. And I don't know how anybody follows her.
Right. I mean, it's tough. So I have mad props. I went and saw her with my mom in Lancaster at Phantom Power, and she ended up picking on my mom. And then it was great because I think my mom secretly likes that stuff, even though she's always been closeted in her life about most stuff, but even like sexually, she's just very, she grew up in an era where it's Catholic and, you don't talk about that stuff. But she gets a kick out of it. And so it was funny her picking on her. And she's very sweet. It was a great show. I remember DMing her after and thanking her. And yeah, so it was cool to see her there just because I saw her from that show and she was so much fun. And yeah, so I really liked Usama Siddiqui was I really enjoyed. I like his air, like he was my next pick because like he just has this energy. My favorite definition of stand up is making a group of strangers friends. And I think they both do that like in their own way. And Osama, like, it was really good at like, you know, talking about topics we all think about and also sprinkling in his culture and his mom and so I really enjoyed him too. I thought the two of them were just every time they killed it. And then there was a girl, Olivia, who hadn't been doing it long. Apparently she was the youngest in terms of years been doing it, and she has this kind of slow deadpan, the jokes really hidden almost in a Jesselneck way, but not like a full that way, but in the way that you're really surprised and she's leading you down a path and you have no idea where the punchline's coming, but it's going to come and it's going to hit hard. She dates a guy that I had done some shows with, Nick Vargas. I think he's a comic that has a speech impediment, because she actually made a joke about it and they panned to him in the crowd. And I'm like, oh, I know that guy. I did at
That's funny.
Scotty's Comedy Cove. He and I had been in a competition together. And I was like, oh, he has a speech impediment. Oh, wait, I think they were doing that on purpose because that must be her boyfriend. And I went on Instagram and I saw there's like a photo of two of them together somewhere. But yeah, Olivia Carter, I think her name was. She was great too, just so good. It's fun to watch some of them now posting that they're going all around and
Yeah.
they're crushing and selling out. Because any of those in the top 10, I think, are great. Even some of that didn't make the top 10, like Liz Glazer was in the Chicago one, and she's out of New York but started in Chicago, and she didn't get much time on it. It was like a maybe 30 seconds or something, but she's a killer. Won the Boston Comedy Festival. She's a sweet person too, but the parts that they showed on there I didn't think were flattering, and you just hate when you don't get that, you don't get produced like that. Oh, we got a dog.
Oh,
Is that
sorry
your
about
dog?
that. Yeah, I got
That's
a
fine.
corgi who, if there's anything disrupting his usual hit in life,
That's
he's
no,
like goes
my dog's
nuts.
been pretty. My dog was like that, and she's definitely mellowed. She's a yellow lab,
Yeah.
but she's been mellow. She's except I found out when I'm not around, She's a beast. Like
Yeah.
they have to put her in the crate because like she'll eat socks, she'll eat anything. But if I'm around, she knows don't mess. Like I got her trained. Like I just have to look at her, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna mess if he's around.
I know
So it's funny.
this guy is a year. He's just going to turn a year in a couple weeks, and I've never had any experience with a corgi. And I always say it's like a cross between Lassie and a tornado. And it's like he bites everything. He is just I just wrote this joke and it's working okay. I just did it one time, so I'll do it second time tonight.
Yeah, do it.
But he barks. We've never had anybody ring the doorbell, but instinctively he knows to bark anytime he hears a doorbell on TV. It's crazy. It's got to be wired into their brains. But we did have
there's some Pavlovian sense here.
But we did have somebody. It was funny because like here's why I wrote the joke. But Monday, the mailman of all people rang the doorbell and he didn't do anything. And we're like, this is your time to shine. Yeah. You missed it. It's the weirdest thing.
He's like, this doesn't happen in real life. This is only on TV.
Like, but it's 7:30 when Sean Hunter rings on Corey Matthews' door. That's when you decide to explode. Yeah. Thanks.
No, he got starstruck. Weird. He didn't actually think he was ever going to run into them in real life.
No, it's like if you're playing first base, you get a pop up in the infield, like, oh my god, everybody's looking at me and I got to catch it. Oh no, you freak out.
The anxiety of having to perform. Like then it was a simulation. It's like when your dad's yelling at the TV because he could have made that catch, and then like they tag him in at the local Y to come into flag football, and he's like,
I froze.
I can't do this.
People are watching.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, he froze. This is your moment. Yeah, that's funny. You realize your dog's just not cut out for the real game.
No. Now, if it were catch, and he had to catch like, part of my taco, he could do it. He never misses it. He's catches better than any Mets center fielder I've seen. So yeah, he's great.
No, that's awesome. Well, do you have anything coming up? Anything you want to plug?
No, I mean I produce shows all over Binghamton and New
That's
York
true.
and Pennsylvania. So Homebrewed Comedy is what, and then I do the Don't Tell shows in Binghamton and Syracuse. So are you still producing shows? Don't Tell shows? Or are you too busy?
I have been on a hiatus just because I've been on the road a lot.
Yeah.
But so I haven't been producing as much. But I'm still in the game. I'm doing one tomorrow with King of Prussia.
I think you've won when you don't have to produce anymore.
Yeah,
like I used to work with a bunch of guys, and one of them didn't need to produce to get on stage. I'm like, yeah, you're ahead of us. Like I'm still producing because I need myself to get me work.
Well, that's how it always is. You got to make stage time for yourself. Yeah. That's why I've been very lucky. So the cheer dad persona of this is like kind of taken off, and I'm getting a lot of opportunities for off nights at clubs. So I'm kind of rolling it out this summer, like a little cheer dad tour. So I'm starting July 1st. I'm going to be in Tampa at Side Splitters, which is actually the day before I get on my coronavirus cruise because it's July 2nd. So I was like, oh, great. Let me try to work a deal where I can do, because there's a lot of cheer gyms and I have a lot of, people that follow me in Florida. So I'm like, oh, let's capitalize. It's not too far from Orlando, which is a hub. And then Tampa and St. Petersburg, or it's going to be in the Wesley Chapel, Florida one. Their side room. It's like 150 seater. So I got tickets going on sale for that soon. July 8th, the week after, I'm going to be in Chicago at Zany's Rosemont, which I'm really excited. I did the other Zany's a couple years ago in the middle of the city, but I wanted one that had more of a classic club layout. So Rosemont, so go up to Rosemont July 8th. The 17th and 18th, I'm doing like this winery in Crossville, Tennessee, and then I'm doing Uncle Vinny's in Point Pleasant, New Jersey, because there's a ton of cheer, like Snooki's daughter cheers for a team in Central Jersey. So I'm doing a Point Pleasant and Uncle Vinny's August 2nd. So yeah, I'm running this kind of like little cheer dad. I'm looking at San Antonio, or Ontario, Canada, and DC next. So I'm excited. So yeah, I'm going to be kind of, doing this cheer dad comedy show. Bring it on, I'm calling it. So
that's great.
Yeah, very excited. So yeah, so anybody following jyodercomedy.com, stay tuned. My Instagram, all that, I'll I'll be posting out the links and all of that stuff when they come up too. So yeah, I'm excited because the board teachers kind of shuts down for the summer. We realized that
Makes sense.
when teachers aren't in school, they're like hard to corral. They don't want to be thinking about school.
Well, yeah,
So so a lot of that I'm back with them in September. I actually get to go to Texas for the first time in September. I'm doing a run in Austin, Abilene, Beaumont, and Corpus Christi. I've only been in the airport in Texas, so
me too.
I'm excited to spend a little time in Texas in September too, and then after that, the cheer comps take off. November is like when cheer season kicks off, so I'm starting to be invited to actually go to cheer events and kind of pop in and tell some jokes and MC a little bit. So I'm looking forward to the fall and getting on the road with the cheer comps, because then Alicia can come. Her and I have been like kind of palling around together, going to the different cheer competitions, and it's kind of fun to get to do that with her too. So yeah, so a lot of fun stuff coming up. So check us both out. Make sure you look at Homebrew Comedy if you're up in Binghamton, Owego, Syracuse area. Don'tTellComedy.com. Just put in the zip code. You'll find Mike, and I'll be up there with you. I think September, was it? We have some time coming up.
September.
Yep. So I'll be up there in September as well. That'll be my pre-Texas send off. And so check us both out. You guys know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, push the algorithm, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, man.